what's up everyone? My name is Lionel. I'm your host of LT Productions and you are watching I Watch You Watch. Today we are covering The Scene, ATL. This is season 1, episode 7. I do appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Like this video, you can also share it. And you can subscribe if you are new to this channel and leave your comments below. Let's get into this week's episode. Alright, so we're going to start off with Scotty as we normally do. She's meeting up with Jay Amore and Troy. These two are from Chasing Atlanta from the past seasons. Now, I have not watched Chasing Atlanta before this current season that is airing. I do have plans to go and watch the previous seasons of the other of Atlanta and also the other Chasing series. I just have not gotten to it. Now, I do recognize, maybe it's Jay, I don't know who, but the guy that was sitting, the guy with the low cut. I've seen him in thumbnails as far as whatever was going on Chasing Atlanta. So anyways, they just catch up. And of course, the main topic, as we're going to hear for most of the episode, is what's going on? What's the status between you and Bando? And of course, Scotty is in his confessional saying, here we go, here we go, here we go again. Just to make things simple, they're figuring things out. He explains to them the timeline of what has been happening so far, of course, of when they were dating. Then they decided to just be cool for a while. And now they are just trying to figure things out. And they're just friends. Of course, people think that there's more going on. But anyone that's got any type of brain activity going, we know that there's more going on. But the definition of it has not been defined. Even though we want to call it something, Scotty and Bando have not called it anything else than just being friends. So, hey, we should accept that. Right, JT? Anyways, Scotty goes on to discuss his book. And he just lets them know as to just the challenges with getting this book launched and all of that and the expenses that comes behind it. He says normally, as far as spending the amount of money that he did on this type of purchase would make him depressed. This time it's not. I mean, really, it's a project where you're just betting on yourself. And you still have the right to do what you want to do with your money, even if you were just spending it on yourself. But you're not spending it lasciviousness on just anything, you know? I mean, you're betting on yourself and investing in yourself. So, hey, I see no shame or any type of... I can't say that it's not stressful, especially this is your first time. I think one of them said, look, this is just your first book of many. And now that you've been able to birth out your baby, your firstborn, it's going to be so easy all the other times that you decide to bring out anything, especially as far as at least in the author realm. So, I think it's Jay, but both of them basically are really inspired by Scotty and everything that he has accomplished, starting in his closet on YouTube and has built an empire. Of course, nobody wanted to cry, but it was a really touching moment. And it's cool to see Scotty getting his flowers. He's been at this for 15 years. He celebrated his 15th anniversary late last year. I forgot what month it was, but just now going into his 16th. So he's done a lot. And it feels like there is possibly this press go button that, or how could I say this? You know, like stick shift, where you just push the acceleration button. I think that's the place that Scotty is in. Now, we move on to JT. JT is with her friends, Sean and Crosby. They met each other through modeling, through different gigs and all of that, and they're just hanging out. They are having a relationship with Mary Joanna and just kicking it. And they're just catching up on what's going on. Sean and Crosby are cisgendered men, straight men. JT likes the ninjas. Trying to be, I'm glad I called myself YouTube, but anyways, yeah. So basically, you could just say that Potomac, how can I say this? Okay, JT, you just bougie up. There's some Potomac in you, and there's also some hood in you, and that's just it. She begins to talk about her TV series that she's written. It's called The Whitmores, and it's more encompassing a lot more LGBTQ community as far as being in the drug and crime underworld. I think it'd be cool, you know, just picture it a trans woman being ahead of this drug ring, which will be cool. It'll be a different take. We'll get shows like The Wire, Power. Probably is going to be a little bit more on Power side as far as what I'm envisioning as how she was talking about what the plot is. Or what is it, Snowfall on Hulu? I have not watched that, but I am intending on watching it. Now, I did not watch the original Power series. I actually caught on a little bit later, and we are reviewing it. Well, I did review Power Ghost, the spinoff, Raising Kanan, which is my favorite one out of all the series. I think there's one for Tommy, but there's a couple more that's going to be coming out too. Power Origins, where we go back in time for Ghost and Tommy, and then Power Legacy that was just announced, I think this week or last week, where they have Tyreek and Tommy come together in current times. So I'm excited for both of those spin-offs coming. But yeah, it sounds very interesting. I'm interested, JT. I'm going to support. She is developing a relationship with Amazon and Roku, and possibly having future shows on those networks. At least helping to develop a TV series for those networks. And we love to see it. And right now, JT, I'll just speak that your show is greenlit. I'm speaking multiple shows. I'm speaking syndication. I'm speaking high ratings. I'm speaking great value sponsorship in regards to just making these shows thrive that come up out of you. So I'll keep my eye on you. Also, JT has announced to her friends and to us that she is going to be moving back to South Carolina, where she came from. She's been in Atlanta for 3 years. She's had her ups and downs, and it's just time to relocate and to refocus and to get back out there. She talked about her time being here. Like, I love Atlanta. Sometimes Atlanta does not love me. She said that she has to be accountable for her actions and also for how she is as a person, is that she takes people at face value. And she has to be accountable for not putting her own safety first in regards to some of the stuff that she's gotten herself into. So, hey, look, all you can do is just regroup, refocus, and come back. Because right now, all I can say as to who you are, JT, is that you're a rubber band. You're being pulled back. And guess what? After you get what you need to get in South Carolina, we're going to let go of that rubber band and you're going to spring forth in everything. You know, she's encouraged, as you can hear in her confessional, and nothing's going to bring her down. So I'm excited for your future, and this is just a little sitting time, just so that you can perfect the things that you need to perfect in your life and all of that. Now we get to the main event. Carl has called over for a Ponderosa between Scotty and JT. He's trying to get to the bottom of why they just don't really like each other. It's just like this love-hate relationship they got going on because of the consistent bump into, the bumps. So, Carl starts bringing up stuff about Scotty. Since he's been away, he's been doing a lot of other stuff. It's being said that Scotty's being more than friendly with Bando. When they're out together, there's all this kissing and lovey-dovey stuff, and what's really going on? And Scotty's just saying, we're friends. JT's like, Carl too, they start asking about, so what happened the other night when you went to the studio? And Scotty says, you must know something. Now, this is one of the funniest things. JT says, I don't know plenty. Now, that was a good line. Now, one thing about an Aquarius, we know. We sense it. We pick up on it. We know. And a lot of times we just got to nod, even though we're not being told the truth. We just got to. Now, when we're ready to confront a thing, we're going to confront a thing head on. Now, they're going to be looking at us like, because it just came out of nowhere. No. It's D-Day for you. And what I know you got going on. So, anyway. I don't know plenty. So, Scotty tells them about the night at the studio. I guess Delon was picking up, and I guess the producer too, about, okay, y'all looking quite comfy over there. Are y'all sure you're friends? I will say this, in last week's episode, I watched how Scotty and Bando greeted each other. And specifically Scotty. His body language was not giving friend. And all I had to just say is, oh, okay. As an Aquarius, just peeping it. I'm like, when they greeted each other in that hug, that wasn't just you, my friend. You got a friend in me. No, this is for the lover in you. But anyway, yeah, I was watching that. Y'all go back and look. That studio scene, if y'all didn't peep it before. But, I'm going along with the storyline that's being presented. Of course, if you've been paying attention to things around the world, you know that there's been things that have accelerated beyond just friends. But hey, that's not my announcement. That's for them to say. But anyways, after I think Blonde said, are y'all really friends? JT was like, and what did you say? We friends. And then JT was like, we're friends. We don't cuddle up with each other. Of course not. Scotty in his confessional says that at this point, there's a lot more PDA, public displays of affection, and Bando's being more affectionate. And Scotty likes it. And still in the back of his mind, he's like, I wonder what's really going on here, because he's just really amped it up and he's putting pressure at this point on Scotty. JT was in present time just saying, be honest, what's going on? How do you really feel about Bando? And what do y'all got going on? Because we want to support you. And Scotty said, do you want to support me? He's talking specifically to JT. JT said, of course I want to support you. Look, I respect whatever you got going on, but I'm also going to be honest. And then they get into this view about Bando. Carl, who has already expressed, I think in his confessions before, that he doesn't even think that Bando's gay. And he thinks that he's mostly just around the gay culture to benefit him. The JT says, so you and I think alike. We see each other in this whole situation of him doing this clout chasing thing. Carl says, well, I don't think really clout chasing, but I think that he knows that he is an attractive man and the gay community finds him attractive and he knows how to market that. Gay for bait, right? Gay baiting, right? I will say this about Bando, you fit the aesthetic of a lot of these gay men that chase only after the masculine energy. And that's probably why people just really chase you down and need to know what you got going on, because they really want to be in your drawers, or you at least in their drawers. And I kind of want to say it's an obsession. But look, even for the gay masculine people, Meg Thee Stallion's hairstylist, Kellon, on Twitter, these folks cannot stay out of his business. They need to know everything that's going on with him. He started talking to this other dude. They got mad and started ripping apart this dude, going back into his past and all of that. That's why I understand the chaos that's going on every time Bando goes to Texas. I think Dallas or wherever. Dallas, Houston, wherever. Like, why in the world is he always within on the Potomac docket? Can he live? Yeah. So they're constantly doing that. I think I saw something recently. Is Bando cheating on Scotty? I said, Lord. Let that man. But yeah, the gays do that a lot. They are like a man. Let me chase after this man. But yeah, Carl has confronted Bando about him not really being gay. And to prove that he is, he'll just grab Scotty, come here, and they suck face. And Carl said, that don't prove nothing. I be kissing women and all that. I guess that's the thing. I guess other genders who may not even, you can't just say that. I said, oh, okay. Carl says, or somehow they got on the subject again about how do you feel about Bando? And then Carl said, I know how you feel about Bando. How is that? You want to marry him. You want to, Shout out to Miss Congeniality. Yeah. In the confessionals, JT was like, look, Scotty's gaslighting. We know what's up. Of course we know what's up. But, hey, I'll play the fool forever. I'll do that. Then they get on the subject of DJ. Blew my mind. They start talking about DJ not being available for the group. They know what DJ's issue is that he's not really trusting anyone after being really jaded by people in the past. And Carl's like, look, I've been in that place before, and we need to help DJ get out of that funk. Scotty says, you know, how Banda was feeling the other night at the studio and letting out his frustrations as to him not showing up here, promising to be here, da 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 da. Of course, he defended DJ out of his presence. Scotty did. When he got with Scotty, he said, when Scotty got to DJ, he said, wait, now, everybody don't know what you got going on. And I think that this would help people at least understand or be able to support you better if they knew a lot more of what you're going on. And it's really good if you would just open up a little bit more so that people don't have to keep looking at you crazy. Then JT says, well, I'm not a fan of her with DJ. And they was like, oh, well, who are you? Scotty said, who are you a fan of? Well, you are. The only thing that was going through my mind was Mimi, even though she said it like this. Oh, we are. But basically, oh, we are? Barely. And then JT was like, look, we should be good, but Scotty, you just want to beef with me. And I get it. I'm beef wittable. I said, okay. So we find out some backstory as to what's going on between JT and DJ. She's pissed. She discusses when they got together the other day at the restaurant. And look, she's like, I could joke around with you guys because we got that type of relationship. But when he started to wanted to really play on the stuff that was of the narration that's going on in the blogs, I wasn't really with it because we don't have that type of relationship where we could joke about this and that. I was like, oh, now I'm understanding a little bit more about that conversation, about when we were seeing the confessionals on last week. Now I understand because there is some type of, there's something there. There's some uneasiness there or tension there because of some more stuff that JT's going to reveal. But JT is bothered. Now, you trying to play into that narrative, making jokes and all that. I don't know why you didn't just share what you have going on. Just like what Scotty was saying as to that he should be sharing some of that. Which is understandable. Don't just talk about me, you need to talk about yourself too. Then JT goes in deeper. There was this three-way phone call between DJ, herself, and Scotty. So we find out through JT that DJ revealed on this three-way phone call that he used to talk to JT's friend, whose name is Drew, who is also JT's gay husband. And of course, this was taking her back a little taken aback about that. And then Drew ended up dumping DJ and started dating another friend that JT has. His name is Josh. And I guess he went on to express as to how DJ is feeling about Drew dumping him for this person, which he feels like it was just a light-skinned person that he wanted to be with. And JT was like, to herself, and expressing to Carl and Scotty, so this is all about colorism? Maybe. Since I don't know Drew, Josh, and don't really know a DJ like that, it's kind of like, okay, well, I can't really respond to that, you know. But anyways, so JT right now, she is paused on wanting to get to know DJ after all that he spilled out. I mean, cool, because these are probably some of your good friends, and now DJ got all this stuff going on. I mean, it just seems like there's maybe some unresolved feelings from that type of situation. I don't know. I would say just talk it out, but anyways, she's at a dead halt right now. Like, But meanwhile, and then what she said after wanting to take a pause, she said, well, right now I know that you are a slut monkey. I said, what? What? I mean, I don't know what all he expressed or told you on that phone call, but he was just dating your friend. Unless there's a different definition as to why you call him a slut monkey. You know, like, okay. I mean, it was just one person that he was dating of your friend. He's just mad that dude dumped him to go be with your other friend. Anyway, Scotty's not having it. And he's really wanting JT to end the conversation. Like, don't talk to me about it. Go tell him. Of course, JT doesn't think that it's a problem. She's just talking and expressing herself as the whole situation, especially since you were a part of the phone call. Then they start talking about, Scotty said about creating a problem. Something about JT is like, she just wants to create issues and problems, da 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 da. And at this point, Carl is in ad-lib mode. He's like, oh, 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 laughing. It made it so hysterical. It's just like, if we would have seen this on television, as far as on any type of reality show, you're actually seeing like someone in a live audience seeing this go on. It was cool. JT's response as far as creating problems, she said, well, there are growing pains as far as getting to know people. And then Scotty was like, growing pains on your end. And then JT was like, can't you look at it from my end? I understand that's your friend and all that, but look, you're trying to villainize me, but I was the one that was comeback. Not really. Because it seems like you want to protect your friends, just like Scotty's trying to protect his friends. Because just like you were spewing everything out to Carl and Scotty, DJ was spewing everything out to you and Scotty about your friends. So it's like, JT, but what JT is asking from Scotty, can you be a friend to me also? I mean, again, JT, there's something totally different. You're getting to know Scotty, and Scotty's getting to know you. In the years of development of friendship between Scotty and DJ. But DJ is Scotty is that type of person that's just loyal to whomever is his friend and whom he's deeply connected to. So you're just not going to get that. Scotty's like, what I don't like out of this whole situation is, yet again, you are putting me in an uncomfortable situation. And then JT was like, well, you will go tell that. You will be Goldilocks and running back and telling stuff. And Scotty said, of course I will. If you want to give me information, of course you want to. And you want me to go back and tell them. And then, of course, she was like, was it then or no? Oh, we find out in the confessionals that Scotty says that when this three-way phone call was happening, that JT promised not to bring this up on camera. And look what happened. Lo and behold, we got 2 more episodes out of the scene in Atlanta. That's all I can say. But anyways, I think in the comments on the channel, JT said that she doesn't remember that. I'm sure 2 of them are going to back up that. So I can't wait till this reunion, because we got to, yeah. So JT feels like what she's doing is totally different from what Scotty does. She says, like, I'm just telling you how I feel about certain things, and you are the one that's being the bone carrier. But aren't you the bone carrier that is on the hotline in the Potomac streets? As far as what's going on in the gossip mill, I got to tell you what's happening, because you may not know this and that, because you are new to Atlanta, da 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 da. Even though Scotty knew it before you even told him about Bando being someplace and being accused of sleeping with this one and that one, da 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 da. You get to be a bone carrier when you feel like it. But there's a problem if Scotty doesn't. Aren't you just getting your just due, JT? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. And Scotty says, well, look, you were talking ish about my friend. And she's like, I wasn't really talking ish. Well, you called him a slut monkey. Carl, now being mediator, was saying, well, let's break things down. 2 things can be true at once. You did talk a little ish. However, she was also just expressing herself as to what has been done to her, which is really to her friends. So we got that together. But she says, you know what? I can own that. I did say that. Da, 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 da. And she says, oh, I'm the accountability queen, and I will own up to my ish. And then she says, well, let me ask you this question to Scotty. Can you? Scotty said, I can. And then, oh, really? You can? And then she says, okay, Gaslight. Then, of course, we go back to the confessionals. Now, JT is bringing up Bando and what she found out about Bando, knowing Carl's ex, James. And that has something to do with Scotty. You're gaslighting. If you want to say gaslighting about the relationship, I really don't call it gaslighting. They have not defined what it looks like. As they said before, figuring it out is still figuring it out. They are not calling each other boyfriends. They're doing some boyfriend stuff. But it hasn't been official as of yet. I'm sure when it becomes official, they'll say something about it. Because I'm like, well, how does this have to do anything with Scotty on him knowing James? Y'all doing all this stuff and gaslighting me? No, it's been a clear sign that Scotty wants you out of his business. That's it. And you've been trying every way, coming around each corner, crook, cranny, to get in that relationship, find out what's going on. Should you really be with him, Scotty? He's this, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And it ain't worked. You trying to really change in Aquarius's mind. You in Aquarius too. You know that ain't gonna change. Or well, not so much change his mind. You're trying to push an Aquarius to do something. You might as well just go jump in the ocean someplace. But you know this. You know this. But anyways, Lord, this was a good episode. I love the body language that they were giving each other while they were in the midst of their argument. Next week is the finale, y'all. And I'm not ready for it to be the finale. I really have enjoyed this series thus far. But I do have a feeling this type of energy is what's going to show up on next week's episode.
I have no desires to get out of character with you.
Good.
None.
None to get out of character with you.
Because I personally don't feel it's worth it.
It's absolutely.
And so what I've heard is...
That's what it's giving me some Nene and Sheree, specifically season 4. But anyways, that's all I got. Please let me know what y'all thought about this episode. Do you know that these two argue for 26 minutes on air on what was edited for us? Who knows how long this argument actually took place? Lord. Anyways, thank you for coming. Like, comment, subscribe. And until the next one, peace.